Welcome to one of America's most dangerous cities, a place also known as the Magic City, Birmingham, Alabama. Let's drive all around the city and check out the vibe of this place. You can see here the whole block is burned out. On the way, we'll talk about crime, history, and economy. And later in the video, we'll visit Sloss Furnaces, one of the most impressive industrial sites that we've seen so far. Driving through Birmingham, one thing you notice almost immediately is how many abandoned buildings and empty lots there are. In some areas, it's not just one or two abandoned houses. It feels like entire pieces of the neighborhood are missing. If you're new here, welcome to Unzoned Travelers. On this channel, we explore the unusual side of travel. From cities with a reputation for being dangerous, like Baltimore and Detroit, to forgotten ghost towns, abandoned places, and strange, overlooked destinations. Let's start with one of Birmingham's biggest challenges: crime. Birmingham consistently ranks among the most violent cities in the U.S. In 2023, the city reported 135 homicides, giving it one of the highest per capita murder rates in the country. For context, Birmingham's 68.7 per 100,000 people would be in the same general range as places like Cape Town, South Africa at 66.8, or Juarez, Mexico at 66.2. But because Birmingham is a much smaller city than those two megacities, even a small increase or decrease in homicides can have a big impact on the per capita rate. Much of the violence is concentrated in specific neighborhoods: Kingston, Ensley, and East Lake, so you might want to avoid these areas if you are moving to Birmingham. Or you could possibly find a cheap house there. That's a completely abandoned school. It seemed like it was probably a nice school back then. This one appears to be the old Community School of the Arts. Even though Birmingham has a dangerous reputation, what surprised us is that many parts of the city actually felt very quiet, almost like a ghost town. A few blocks later, the city can feel completely different again. That's one of the things that stood out the most. Some streets feel empty, and then suddenly you hit an area that feels more alive, more restored. Areas like Avondale, 5 Points South, and Highland Park have seen some revitalization. Cafes, craft breweries, and restored homes. It's a city of extremes. Because of some heavy construction and road closures, we weren't able to spend as much time downtown for this video. Let's take a quick look at the history of Birmingham. The city was founded in 1871 during the post-Civil War Reconstruction era. It quickly became known as the Magic City because of how fast it grew. Birmingham sat on rich mineral deposits: coal, iron ore, and limestone, which helped make it a major hub for the iron and steel industry. Railroads, furnaces, factories, and heavy industry turned it into one of the most important cities in the South. Birmingham was not just an industrial center. It became one of the central battlegrounds of the civil rights movement. The city played a major role in American history, especially during the 1960s, when protests, marches, and violent resistance to desegregation made Birmingham one of the most important cities in the civil rights era. After driving through the abandoned blocks, rough neighborhoods, and empty lots, we wanted to show you a place that explains why Birmingham became important in the first place: Sloss Furnaces. Back in its heyday, this factory churned out millions of tons of iron. It closed down in the early 1970s, but it has now been preserved as a historic site. Honestly, this was probably our favorite place in Birmingham. I really enjoyed visiting Sloss Furnaces. I could have easily spent the whole day here. Best of all, admission is free and you can explore the site at your own pace on a self-guided tour. You can walk around and see the machinery and blast furnaces, and check out some locally made iron art around the plazas. Cool stuff there. It's one of the most interesting places in Birmingham because it shows both sides of the city. The powerful industrial past, but also the decline that came after many of those jobs disappeared. But like many industrial cities, Birmingham hit hard times by the 1970s. Deindustrialization and inequality left scars that are still visible today. From our research, the median household income is just under $39,000. That's far below the national average. Over 25% of the population lives below the poverty line. At the same time, the cost of living is still lower than many other American cities. The median rent in Birmingham Metro is about $1,165 per month. That sounds like a lot, but it's well below the U.S. average. It's a majority black city, with African Americans making up around 68% of the population. And real quick, 98% of you guys aren't subscribed. If you're enjoying the videos, please consider subscribing. It really helps the channel grow. Birmingham may not be the most beautiful city we've visited, but the more we explored, the more interesting it became. It's a city with serious problems and some very interesting places if you take the time to look deeper. It has its own distinct vibe, even though at first it didn't feel as visually exciting as some other places we visited, such as New Orleans or Baltimore and Detroit. By the way, check out our video where we explore the no-go zones of Baltimore if you haven't already. And let us know in the comments if you have visited Birmingham. Thanks for riding along with us, and we will see you on our next trip.